Hey there, good day, good day, good day. Tamu and Gina, Priestess Heart, here today to share my heart with you. Love is my religion. And let me tell you, love is not always fluffy little bunnies and cutesy little smiley hearts. Anyone who has ever raised children know the truth of that. So we're going to give it just a few moments to allow YouTube to send out its notifications, see who comes on, and then we will take it from there. We will take it from there. So today, I would like to pull a card from our Goddess Oracle deck, as well as, let's see. It's been a while since I've done any recommendations. I think and I would like to share a really cool book with you today. Just trying to see if I can locate the cards for this book. And it doesn't seem that I can. And that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started here on this third day of January 2019. Okay. All right. Welcome, Katrina. Welcome. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a nice, deep, centering breath and welcome ourselves into this sacred space. Okay. So before we get started, I would like to share with you a very beautiful book that I purchased. I think it was back in October. I was a vendor at the Mid-Atlantic Women's Herbal Conference where what did I do there? I did reflexology and sold jewelry. I make copper earrings, copper jewelry. And the guest speaker, one of the guest speakers and teachers, and I did also, speaking of teaching, I did teach 2 classes. I taught a class on prayer flag making, and I taught a class, what was the other class I taught? Mandala making. And there was a teacher there, speaker, Maia, who is an amazing, incredible soul. She is such a beautiful person. And this is her book that she came out with. And the book comes with 36 bewitching oracle cards. And you know, when I purchased the book, I had no idea that there were oracle cards. The oracle cards were in the back of the book. Unfortunately, well, they were in this sleeve. Unfortunately, I'm not sure where I put the cards. But when I show you the imagery in this book, the images, those are exactly the cards. They're printed on, they're about this size. About the size of, what do you call it, Lenormand decks. So look at this beautiful illustrated herbiary. Includes 36 oracle cards, guidance, and rituals from 36 bewitching botanicals by Maia. And that's the binding. Beautiful hard copy. Lots of like silvery metallic on there. Very gorgeous book. And look at that. Very reminiscent of antique wallpaper, actually. Oh, she wrote in the book for me. Tamu, thank you for sharing the magic, Maya. And let me move my masala chai. Made my masala chai early this morning. And this is a mug that I actually got from the secondhand store. Was made from one of the local college students. I encourage everyone to try to move towards items that are handmade by people. So much better energy than anything manufactured. Look at that beautiful. I'm sure this is probably hawthorn, berry hawthorn. I'm thinking because of the heart. To the wild, to the wild ones and the mystic souls who walk amongst us unseen. And to Gina McGarry for teaching me to listen for them. I'm going to just land that down so I can put my glasses on. Okay. So this is the table of contents. And the herbs listed are chickweed, daisy, red clover, sweet violet, apple, white sage for clearing the way, self-heal, uh, thyme, dandelion, burdock, tap your resources, rose, raspberry, hawthorn, heart's home, which, like I said, is probably what this card. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those illustrations. Valerian, plantain, California poppy, mugwort. Tell you, California poppy and mugwort are, and valerian, really good for sleeping and wonderful dreams. Okay, so there's elderberry, lady's mantle, starflower, lavender, comfrey, marshmallow, yarrow, oats, St. John's, trillium, white willow, quaking aspen, mullein, reishi, passion flower, nettle. Nettle is an amazing herb, especially if you're dealing with iron deficiency. And even if you're not, just overall a good tonic. Tulsi, when I was much younger, this is, wow, almost close to 30 years ago, I used to be very much involved in ISKCON, in the Hare Krishna temple up in Atlanta. And we would arise at 4 o'clock in the morning to do Tulsi Puja at 4:30 in the morning, circumambulating the Tulsi plant. Uh, don't remember how many times, but I always enjoyed it. It was such a beautiful, energetic expression. Vervain and rosemary. She has remembrance for rosemary. Rosemary essential oil is a wonderful oil to use when you're studying, when you're doing reading, to help you to remember. Remember, our memory is very much connected to our sense of smell. Apprentice to a medicine woman sounds terribly romantic indeed. At times it was terrible and at times it was romantic. Sometimes it was mystical, but most often it was simply lonely. Living in the middle of cow pastures with no car, an hour's walk from town, leads to introspection, experimentation, and lots of listening to the wind, to the birds, and to the plants. I ended up studying herbalism after the Manhattan medical community scratched their collective heads and said, "You're obviously sick, but we don't know why." After 7 years of reading and experimenting on my own, I landed in Ireland, living and learning from a woman who was by turns a scientist, a witch, a gardener, and a detective. She's speaking of her herbal teacher. My herbal teacher, I've had her on here before, Cherise Sledge Thomas. You can check her out. She is amazing. So the imagery that you see here, this is the exact imagery. This is what the card looks like, only it's a little small card. I think like 2 inches by 3 inches. Very beautiful. And then she gives you, some information on the herb. For instance, chickweed sings of bright beginnings, welcoming you to your path. Her tiny star-like flowers whispers, "It's time." Not sure you're ready? No worries. Gently, she'll break cells open, renewing energy and life. Chickweed reminds you, wherever you are is a fine place to begin. And then she gives you a ritual to do with chickweed. Like many tiny treasures, chickweed is easily overlooked, and honor chickweed. Spend more time noticing the micro world. Sometimes it's the smallest things that make the biggest impact. I remember a friend of mine did one of those compassion guided meditations, and this person was, guided to think of a time when you acted compassionately and did something wonderful for someone. And the person said to me, "I can't remember anything. I haven't done anything good for someone." And I was like, "Remember that time when X, Y, and Z happened, and even though you didn't feel like it, you still provided comfort and solace?" It's like, "Oh, but that's just a little small thing. That's nothing." It's like, no, it's the little things that are important. So along with the ritual, she also includes a reflection. Look for little stars. It's easy to figure out the best way to move forward when life gives you big, flashy signposts, but it can be harder when the path seems mundane and mapped by only the smallest of lights. Chickweed reminds you to look for those small lights. Her Latin name, Stellaria, means little star. Stellaria. Oh, that is beautiful. What little stars are you ignoring as you search for floodlights and fireworks? What bright beginnings are moldering as you wish for something bigger? Is the trail unspooling at your feet while you have your eyes on a distant horizon? And then a little quote: "That my complicated life could be made so simple was astounding," by Cheryl Strayed Wild. So I will just show you the imagery. So this is Daisy, be yourself. And she includes the Latin name Bellis Perennis. And of course, again, a ritual. Oh, not hawthorn. Red clover. Isn't that a gorgeous card? That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Like I said, when I got the book, I had no idea that there were little oracle cards in it. I purchased the book because I knew that I was going to be teaching and vending at the conference. And I had did I meet Maia before? I'm not sure, but we were friends on Facebook. Storms make trees take deeper roots. Dolly Parton. Who doesn't love Dolly Parton? Dolly Parton and Charro. Who remembers Charro? Cha cha cha. So yeah, so I purchased the book, and then when I got home and I'm skimming through it, and I was like, "What's this?" And I opened it in the back, and there are all these beautiful little cards. Sweet Violet. And the rituals: honor your inner sanctum. Let's see. Sweet Violet, inner sanctum. Honor your inner sanctum and unwrapping your truth is the reflections. Look at that apple. white sage. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? White sage. I love the ravens, and look how the ravens are holding onto bones like they're throwing bones to read. You see the white sage bundles for smudging and letting go. Self-heal, ripple outward. Self-heal. Prunella vulgaris. Pretty, pretty prunella. My teacher used to murmur to this tiny flower with fuzzy leaves and a snapdragon face. Prunella, or self-heal, is a wee thing, small in the way of butterflies, whose flapping wings can stir a hurricane halfway around the world, halfway a world away. You have time to still yourself, time. Beautiful labyrinth. Oh, speaking of labyrinths, it's been a while since I've done any outdoor live stream. I used to walk the labyrinth quite frequently around the corner. So we're going to have to do that again. Maybe when it gets a little bit warmer, because I am not a winter person. Dandelion, perseverance. Burdock. I love the burdock. Burdock. I love burdock. You know the birds that get matted into your dog's coat in autumn? The ones that prick your fingers and refuse to come untangled? That's burdock. She's a tireless companion, and yes, she sticks with you, cheering you on when you're low on steam or self-esteem. The ritual, reconnect to your inner flame. Reflection, find your hearth fire. There's rose. Now, I don't know, CB, if in this book, I don't think she particularly recommends any type of medicinal, I don't believe, but it's more of the metaphysical properties, and it's just a very beautiful book. If you check out her website, I'm sure she has some herbal books and recipes or etc. like that. Raspberry. Raspberry leaf is wonderful tonic for women's wombs. It's good for that monthly issue, for cramping, or all the stuff that goes along with that. Raspberry leaves. One of my son's girlfriend had some issues, and I gave her a nice big bag of raspberry. And it's so nice when my son says, "Oh, she's doing so much better. Thank you, Mom." Raspberry. It's one of my favorites. Hawthorn. Heart's home. I like that. There's not a heart in that image. Hawthorn. Plantain. My 8-year-old, when he was maybe 4 or 5, he calls it nature's Band-Aid. Valerian. One of my favorites. Stinks to high heaven. Oh, here's something interesting. So, a cat nap. Research has found that when we are left to our own devices, humans do a big sleep at night and a second shorter sleep in the afternoon. So, not napping is actually unnatural. You are hardwired for an afternoon siesta. If you know you're going to have a late night, preemptive napping for up to 2 hours is the way to go. And as with all things, one size does not fit all. Some people are simply not good nappers. Listen to your body. So never feel ashamed or embarrassed if you need to take a nap. Doesn't mean that you're old. It means you're listening to your body. Yesterday, I had the most delicious nap. About 20 minutes, actually. It wasn't even that long. I had a client. coming at 5:15. I made dinner at what time was dinner ready? I think dinner was ready at 4 or 3:45, 4 o'clock. I made it was very simple. I made broccoli, I made lamb chops, and salad. And my son chowed it down. This is California Poppy Resurrection. Isn't that beautiful? I spoke with Maia and I asked her about, because the oracle cards, because the cards were sort of like a secondary thing in the back of the book, they were very thin. And I was like, wow, I said, is it possible that you can print these on a heavier real card stock for those of us who actually use cards? And she said she's talking to the publisher. It might have more cards to come out. The artwork is phenomenal. This is Mugwort. Mugwort is wonderful for lucid dreamings and crazy dreams. And I know that some people actually smoke mugwort. It helps to really calm you down. Mugwort, Artemisia vulgaris. Mugwort lives in a space between deep rest and waking. She is the daughter of moonlight and protector of those who travel the dream time. Mugwort curls around your mind, whispering your dreams into words and images that you can clutch as you climb levels of consciousness and return to your waking self. So as you see, what I'm doing in this live stream has nothing to do with the title. That just goes to show you just how spontaneous I am. So I'm going to have to change the title, and we'll do the Goddess Oracle and all of that another time. So hold on, I need a little sip of my sorry about that. I had a clove stuck in my mouth. Elderberry. Cyclicality. Never heard that word before. Cyclicality. Elderberry. And look at the moon. The moon phases. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. You know, it's stuff like this that reminds you of just how beautiful and amazing life is. In between the interstitial places and even on the exterior. Bittersweet, fabulous, wild, crazy, outrageously. You know, life is everything. You can't have the good without the bad. Elderberry traditionally lives at the center of the garden, telling stories of winters past and springs yet to come. Though often scraggly and a questionable centerpiece, her three faces embody the goddess: maiden in the spring, abundant with white petals; mother in the summer, when wine red berries adorn her branches; and crone in autumn, when her leaves are falling away. She looks quite dead in winter, all bare branches and hollow bones. Elderberry's yearly evolution teaches you to dance with the closely twined cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Wherever you are in your life, she reminds you that acceptance of life's cyclicality is the key to earning your spot at the garden center. Oh, did you guys see my labradorite? I have it reflecting the light just right. That's for you. Yes, it is, Pavel. Although sometimes I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And it also depends on what mood I'm in. Or maybe I just like being in control, so the spontaneity has to come from me. Do you take the time to dive deep, allowing cycles of repetition to enhance your understanding? Do you allow new knowledge to take root in your hands and your heart through practice? Or do you hold knowledge only in your hand, denying yourself true learning and wisdom? Let's see. It is odd that we never question the feasibility of a football team practicing long hours for one game, yet in writing, we rarely give ourselves the space for practice. Oh, Hamsa. Lady's mantle, fortitude. Fortitude. Alchemilla vulgaris. And then, of course, a ritual and a reflection. Starflower. Finding Grace. Boragio officinalis. Oh, borage. This right here. Borage and catnip. If you were only to have two teas to get you, if you were to only have two teas to get you through the winter, I would recommend catnip and borage. Not sure how you pronounce it. I just say borage. Um, when borage is like rich in all kinds of good minerals and all that good yummy stuff. And whenever my children, my older three, when they were younger, and then they would like, oh, my tummy hurts or coming down with a cold, I would make them borage and catnip infusion. That's another word for what layman's would call it tea. But in the herbal world, we herbalists know that the only tea that there is white tea, green tea, or black tea, or oolong. Those that herbs that actually come from the bush, the shrub, the tea bush. I forget what it's called, but that's tea. And herbal tea is not really tea. Herbal is herbal infusion. And I would make borage and catnip infusion for them and give it, and whatever, you know, if you catch it early enough, it just wipes it right out. Some call this plant by her more common name, borage. Learn something new. Yes, because it has purple star flowers. That's why. That's why it's called starflower. But she prefers starflower, and wouldn't you? Her blue star-shaped petals shine among the garden's more usual yellows and pinks, shimmering yet understated, like an old-time movie starlet. Starflower shares a timeless philosophy with these legends of the silver screen. Grace isn't something you keep for yourself, she tells us. Grace, Starflower knows, is a gift you give over and over again to the world around you. If you're thoughtful, caring, and true, grace develops a patina over time, becoming wisdom, cradling those lucky enough to be in your present. How can you let a little more grace into your life? Oh, that is so beautiful. And then, of course, the ritual and reflection. Tough love, lavender. Yeah, I'm 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 all about love, but let me tell you, I'm not always about having to coddle someone. I like to say the straight facts. Of course, you don't kick someone when they're down, and you give them a little time, but I like honesty. And when I'm going through my difficult notions or whatever, I always appreciate those friends who just tell me like it is. Tell you like it is. Suck it up, buttercup. Tough love. Lavandula angustifolia. People think lavender is soft, useful for shaping quiet space and calming down rowdy children. But beneath her powdery scent is a hint of menthol. Smell it? That bite at the back of your palate? Lavender appears to be the down-to-earth and gracious grandmother who'll soothe your soul and sing you to sleep. You're living a rare and blessed life if that's all you ever need from her. If circumstances should change, call on lavender. She handles emergency. Let me tell you, lavender essential oil is one of those oils that you must keep in your medicine cabinet. In fact, keep it in the kitchen over the stove. Why? Because if, God forbid, some boiling water falls on you, or some grease, some hot oil pops up and burns the heck out of your hand, the first thing you should reach for is lavender oil and slather it on. It will stop that burn in its track and prevent you from blistering up. Comfrey, another one of my favorites. Comfrey is so prolific. You can dig up comfrey wheat roots and, like, say you're going to toss them out, put them in a pile. Wherever a piece of comfrey drops, it will make its way into the ground, and you'll have little spots of comfrey all over your yard. What needs mending? Symphytum officinale. Comfrey loves to mend skin, bones, soil. There's so much to do. She dives deep, magicking molecules, rebuilding broken chains, restacking cells into tissues, and tissue into muscles. This is joyous work for Comfrey. She tends to work quickly, sometimes too quickly. A spoonful of sugar, marshmallow. Marshmallow root, good for uh, uh, getting mucus out of you. It's one of the things I remember about marshmallow. Oh, here's something. Creating confections. There's a reason marshmallow confections are the province of pharaohs in ancient times. They were time-consuming and difficult to make, unlike modern marshmallow revival recipes, which only calls for a small amount of marshmallow root added, is a nod to the traditional use of the plant. The oldest recipes call for the sap of the fresh plant, which then underwent a multi-day process before being eaten. Okay, well, I'm glad to know that. I had no idea, as I wondered why marshmallows were called marshmallows, because they were originally derived from marshmallow root. Very cool. Very cool. Yarrow. Yarrow. Yarrow, for those of you who know that I love the I Ching, yarrow stalks are one of the traditional methods for I Ching divination. And let me see if I can find my yarrow stalks that I use for divination. I just found it for you. I keep my yarrow. I harvested these locally. When I get an idea in my head, I have to see it through to the end. If only you could smell these. Try to smell them. Oh, they have such a beautiful fragrance. I was driving around trying to find yarrow, and eventually I found some yarrow growing out at the end of someone's yard. This is about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And I asked the people, oh, can I cut some of your yarrow when it goes, goes back to sleep? And they're like, oh, sure, sure. I cut them, I stripped them, I allowed them to dry, and that's what I use for my I Ching. Yarrow is also good for, it's a good anti-inflammatory. I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see. Here is a bag of yarrow that I purchased at the herbal conference. You can check out this company. Really wonderful. Gathered Threads. Gathered Threads LLC. So this is yarrow for making herbal infusion to help rid the body of pains. Pocket of protection. Achillea mellifolium. In older times, Yarrow traveled with warriors. While her official job was staunching wounds, keeping the insides in and the outsides out, her presence brought bravery to the soldiers she kissed. Today, she has much the same task. Yarrow Yarrow assists you in keeping your boundaries, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. She creates personal pockets of protection so you can slow down, gather your strength, and find your courage. So again, the images that we see in this book are all on oracle cards. Unfortunately, I mean, I have so many oracle cards, so many decks, and way too many books. And so sometimes some things go on a mini vacation, and it takes me a bit of time to find them. Just Be Oats, Avena sativa. Oh, that's where Avena lotion gets its name, because that's part of the Latin name for oats, Avena. Of course, the ritual, including oat bathing and going silent. Anytime you have a rash or any kind of skin inflammation, oat is really good for that. Isn't that a beautiful image? This is St. John's wort, light in the darkness. Hypericum foratum, parafortum. Here you go. Truth? St. John's wort is scraggly and scrappy, completely lacking the charisma one would expect from an herb reputed to tame depression in a single bound. But that's her beauty. She's a magician and a thief, not the belle of the ball. She knows how to steal the heat from summer's solstice sun, hold it in her flowers, and make it last all winter long. I love Maia's writing. Ritual, sipping sunshine, reflection, winter medicine. Spirit into matter, trillium, trillium erectum. Always like that word, erectum. Isn't that gorgeous? Trillium is a rare jewel brightening the forest floor, quietly watching the darkness. She's not waiting for ghouls or ghosts. She fears nothing in these dim-lit woods. No trillium is waiting on the first fleeting sparks of new life. Come, she says, drawing you deeper into the consciousness of the trees. Let's see what shall be born. Nurture new ideas and seed time. How gorgeous is that? White willow, the ways of water. Salix alba. I like that name, Salix alba. Sending to water. This would be a great one. You're dealing with a lot of emotional issues. Quaking aspen. Look at that. Beautiful. Populus tremuloides. Mullein. Integration. Spider medicine. I'll have to look at that one later. Defying gravity, reishi. Passion flower. Exuberant quietude. Passiflora incarnata. Passion flower is a study in opposites. She climbs vigorously, sending exploring fingers through fence slats and wall crevices. What's over there, she wonders, always trying to get to the other side, to expand beyond her current boundaries. Even her flowers exudes frantic energy, vibrantly bursting out into the world. Feeling to help you feel more expansive. Here's a ritual with the passion flower and reflection, life's inventory. Isn't it nice? Right next there to the labradorite. Nettle. Nettles. Another one of my favorites. You can get some nettle, soak it in brandy, make your extract. Urtica dioica. If we do not let the names of the plants around, if we do not know the names of the plants around us, if we do not acknowledge the individualistic curl of a leaf or a creep of a rhizome, they all run together and look like a wall of greenery. That's when we humans start to generalize, lumping anything without a showy flower into the category of weed. Pay attention, she admonishes. We are all different and all unique. And let's see, was that the last one? Oh, look at that. Tulsi reminds me of when I was in the temple and would get up and Tulsi Arti. I don't remember the mantra. My gosh, that was like 28 years ago. Not 28, 20. Was it 28? Oh my gosh. It was. Actually, it was 29. I can't think. I was 19. I was 19. Yeah. When I actually, was I 19? No, I was 18 when I started. Um, when I started at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it there. New Panihati in Atlanta. Seems like a lifetime ago. You are sacred, Tulsi. Ocimum sanctum. Tulsi is also called holy basil. Is traditionally planted in a special pot by the front doors of homes in South Asia. This holiest of plants, thought of alternately as a household deity and manifestation of the goddess Lakshmi. That part I didn't know about the manifestation of the goddess Lakshmi. Brings heaven to earth and also abundance to your household, because Lakshmi is the goddess of finances and abundance. And I wanted to show you my prayer beads that are made from Tulsi. I'll show those to you in just a second. Let's finish reading about Tulsi. Her spicy scent reminds you to be aware of the unseen, of spirit flowing in and out. Tulsi says you're strongest when you let spirit help you adapt to the ups and downs of daily life. If you befriend Tulsi, she might give you further messages. Your spirit flows through your physical form, and so your soul is fed through your body's senses. You might wear Tulsi beads around your neck. And actually, I do have some Tulsi beads. I'm trying to think. My second son, the physicist, um, the one you can see one of his videos, Jordan is his name, and he's studying quantum physics, getting his PhD in quantum physics right now at University of Chicago. I had started buying him Tulsi beads. Well, I bought them for all of my boys, but he was the only one that took to wearing them. And every time they would break, he would call me up, Mom, do you have any more Tulsi beads? You might wear Tulsi beads around your neck to remind you that you are the home of your spirit and you are sacred. I'm not sure if I have any Tulsi beads on hand that I can show you, but this is my Tulsi prayer beads. So that's like the guru bead there, and you go Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and then go on there, or whatever mantra you want to use. Om Shanti Shanti, Om Shanti Shanti, or whatever mantra. Even if you want to do it in English. And hold on one second. Let me see if I have any Tulsi beads. Okay, I took a quick survey, and of course, I have no idea where the Tulsi beads are. Mind you, if I wasn't looking for them, I'm like, oh, here are these beads. Here are these necklaces. So anyway, this is Tulsi. This is a big one. It's really, and it's 108 beads. If you notice in my account name, Priestess Heart 108, which goes down to 9, a very sacred number. So 108, 72, 36. Sometimes we attribute meaning when there is none. You know, yesterday when I had we were covering hexagram number 33 because that's the number we were in the I Ching, and I posted it to my Facebook page, the video, and someone asked me, 33 question mark, are you a Mason? Ah, mercy. Anyway, Tulsi. And I think, is that the last one? No. Vervain. Vervain. Verbena officinalis. Vervain. Vervain. I have some blue vervain in my cabinet, and I've mixed blue vervain, mugwort, and what's that other one for sleeping? It starts with a V. Oh, it's in here. Valerian. Mix those together. An amazing good night's sleep. An amazing sleep. Vervain. Vervain whispers of enchantment and worlds not quite seen. There you go for some wild and crazy dreams. She'll teach you to see beyond the ordinary and help you explore the liminal lands of the psyche. Through her easy access to the in-between, she can call in the medicine of plants not present, making her a must for any healer's garden. Ask Vervain to channel her sisters and hold their place in a tea blend or incense. But remember, even though she is wispy, Vervain is powerful. A sip of her tea is magical. A cup nauseating. Why? Because too much mystery puts us off balance. Think of it as motion sickness of the soul. So let Vervain dance slightly on the edge of your consciousness, reminding you of the infinite possibilities that unfold you when you let magic in. It's very interesting. Because when I would make my blend, more valerian, mug root, and I did just naturally, intuitively, just put a little bit of vervain in there. Vervain. Study the interstitial. Standing at the roads is the reflection. Rosemary, remembrance. Remember I said Rosemary Essential Oil is good to have around you, to sniff, to wear on you when you're studying, when you're reading, to help you to retain the information. Rosmarinus officinalis. And also I use rosemary at times, the essential oils, in my hair rinse. It's good for darker colored hair. Rosemary is the smell of deja vu and the afterbreath of nostalgia. Her gift is the faint scent that teases and vanishes, leaving you longing for something you can't quite name, and with memories that crest and crash, pulling you gasping into the undertow. Was that not an amazing imagery conjured in your mind? Rosemary. Her ritual is honoring ancestral memory. There you go. It is so important to honor our ancestors, to recognize and understand where we come from. Then we can know the direction in which we're going. And we know how to not repeat the past. Reflection, you are made of memories. Yeah. That is what is meant by the Buddhist concept of no soul. You know, Westerners tend to think that that makes Buddhist atheists. No, Buddhism is not an atheist religion. Um, but we Westerners like to think it is. And Buddhists do not disbelieve that, Buddhists do not believe that once you're dead, you're dead. That's the concept of not having a soul, meaning that once you die, this is it, there's nothing else. Um, the concept of no soul, what is actually meaning is that there is no permanent you that is you, meaning that you are constantly changing and evolving and growing, and you're different from yesterday. 5 minutes ago, before I did this live stream, I was different. Why? Because I didn't interact with you guys today. And now I've heard some words from Pavel, or read some words, saw Regina and CB and whoever else is here, and energies that's shared. So I'm different than I was when I woke up. So that's all it is meant by there's no permanent soul. So there's a little image of the cards. And she puts how to work with the herbiary cards. These are great for contemplations and meditations. She even gives you a little layout of the cards. So, oh, and here's the images of the cards. Unfortunately, I have no idea where I put my cards. They're here somewhere, but here are the cards right there. That's what they look like. Of course, they're a little larger than that. Much larger than that. So I really recommend this book. It is beautiful. And so, oh, there's um there's Maia. Isn't she gorgeous? Oh my goodness, she is so beautiful. She is just in person. She's just like an angel. We had this very long conference. I left on Saturday. I was done. For me, vending is not fun. But at the end of the day, when I was ready to just pass out, she's just like, she's like an angel. Just so gracious and so lovely. Anyway, Maia Toll is an herbalist, storyteller, folklorist, and women's wisdom mentor. She opened her natural products shop, herbiary.com. So you can look her up. There you go, herbiary.com. After returning from a year-long apprentice with a traditional healer in Ireland, she is a registered herbalist with the American Herbalist Guild and teaches across the globe. You can find her latest writings, online classes, and information about her in-person retreats at maiatoll.com. She is gorgeous. I have a picture of her, a picture that she and I took together somewhere on my Facebook page. So there you go. This isn't exactly how I planned to have this live stream this morning, but just as I started, I was like, I want to share this book. So everything else was out the window. So there you go. Check out this book. And I think it's $19.95. Well worth it. Beautiful hard copy. Get lots of beautiful inspirations from this book. All right. And let's see, one last thing before I go. You know what? Let me go ahead and get us a goddess oracle card. Get us some divine feminine inspiration. Whoops. Go ahead and pull a card for us today. Okay. So here's the card. And who are we going to meet today before we leave? Maeve. Responsibility. Maeve. Let's see. It takes a minute for it is not coming into focus. There we go. Anyway, Maeve is who we're going to meet. And let's look up Maeve. All about responsibility. I am a warrioress of the heart. I am queen of the domain of myself. I am able to respond in all situations from the knowledge of who I am. My actions are who I am. My beliefs are who I am. All I do is who I am. That which is outside of me stays outside of me. That which I choose to let in, I own and acknowledge. How can you be responsible if you do not own all aspects of yourself? How can you be accountable without being queen over your own domain? How can you serve your consort, your children, your community, if you are unwilling to acknowledge and answer for yourself? Maeve, whose name means intoxicating, was associated with Ireland and represented the land's sovereignty and its magical center, Tara. Over time, she became diminished to Maeve, the queen, who could outrun horses, confer with birds, and bring men into the heat of desire with a mere look. In the Irish epic Tian Bo Cian, I cannot pronounce Gaelic, Maeve, spelled Medb or Mebhdh, argues with her king over who has the most wealth. Since in Celtic custom, the wealthier one of the relationship is the ruler, he won because he had a magical bull. She decided to steal a magical red bull for herself. After much battle and bloodshed, Maeve won the red bull. However, when the two bulls met, they ripped each other to shreds. Oh my goodness. Maeve strides boldly into your life to challenge you with the task of taking responsibility for your life. It is time for you to become queen of your domain by becoming aware of, then accountable for all that you do and all that you are and all that you believe. So I will leave you with that. And thank you. Thank you to all of you who joined us today. Thank you, Regina, for your kind words, and everyone else. Pablo, Critical Break, Katrina. And let's see. Oh, trying to get the cursor. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this live stream to a close. I have a client coming in about 40 minutes. Want to get a little bit of my tarot in before that. And thank you for being here. I'm Tamu Ngina, Priestess Heart. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's not give up. Believe in yourself. Know your center. Stay at your center no matter what's going on in the world. And even if you were ripped to shreds by a lion, you're still going to be okay. Wrap your head around that one. Let's take a nice deep centering breath. Let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and all those who have come before us. Thank you, Katrina. I wish you peace and great bliss. There you go. Have a beautiful day, and until next time, keep going. Peace.